This time it is Need for Speed Payback. I have completed the game. I've maxed out the level until the update comes out. What could I tell you about this game? I loved it. It was definitely a change from the 2015 version. Ideally bigger. It was a bigger game. Had more activities to do than the last game. I have looked at some other reviewers and I completely disagree with them. One reviewer said it was one step forward, two step back, which I found quite disgusting, as they did not mention anything about the past game and what they've changed. The only thing they did mention was it has a pause menu now, which it does. And I felt that was ridiculous. Obviously, the major talking points was microtransactions like every other game. Going, oh, you've got to spend money and you've got to do this and you've got to do that. Which is complete and utter bullshit. I have not spent any money into this game and I don't need to. But we'll get to that on later. First of all, I would like to show you my garage. This is my drift car. You have to find it because it's actually a derelict car. And I believe this is my super build car. You get super builds, you've probably seen it and stuff. And this is what it is. If I could have it in real life, I really would. You got neon again, which is something everybody wanted to see back. Bring back the underground cosmics. You've got nitrous colour, you've got tyre smoke, you've got underglow, you've got horns, you've got air suspension. And all the reviewers I've seen hate it. Can't understand why. They're giving you a load more details. Here is my supercar. Pagani, I'll try to pronounce it, Pagani Hyra BC. My day-to-day real-life car. Dirt car, or should I say off-road car, which is... I'm sorry, what? There's off-road in Need for Speed? Yes. Did they talk upon that? No. And runners' cars. Did they talk on about that? No. But there's still more. There is. I have another race car. Drift. You have drag cars. So they're bringing back the drags. And then obviously off-road and thingy. So let's leave the garage and I'll show you the map. When it loads. But yes, this is your first place area if you've not got the game, or if you're listening to the silly people saying this game's a terrible game. This is where you start. This... What shall I show you? Yeah, this is the map. It's a pretty sizable map. You've got different dealerships for different cars. You've got petrol stations, so you can fast travel, which it costs you £200, but the game throws money at you ever since people started complaining about the game, which I found no problems with. There's roaming racers, so no problems there. There are activities, there's jumps, there's speed runs, there's speed cameras, and there's drift runs. So they're giving you something else to do instead of the campaign if you want to take the campaign a bit slow. It took me about probably nearly 2 weeks because I was doing the campaign, but I was also doing the activities as well. But I was also doing the collectibles. These give you a bit of money and a bit of XP. And you have chips because it's basically Las Vegas, really. And you also have billboards to smash through. You get all of them, you get a nice little trophy at the end. And then the other things are derelicts. At the start of the game, you beat a leader, they'll give you a derelict. And you've got to go and find it. There's the car I'm using now. And it was also a nice thing. It does give me the impression it's like Crew 1, which I really enjoyed. It's because it's making you not need to do the campaign. All the reviewers I've seen completely ignored that. And if you do sell the vehicle after you've got it, you can buy it back for nothing at all or cheap money. Where, as you can tell, I have 1.4 million. And these all have super builds. So, it's all good, in my opinion. The thing I will show you, though, which is obviously the major talking point. Where is it? Nope. I need to go over there. Let's go for a drive. Listen to my baby purr. Train horn, as you can hear, hopefully. You have 3. These are the upgrades. They've recently been upgraded because people were complaining about it, going, oh, it's not helping me, blah, 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 and obviously Need for Speed and, I will admit, yes, EA, but it's mainly Ghost. We're talking, and they updated it so you have reasonable upgrades. I particularly don't want any upgrades because I prefer my car at the moment. Even though that... No, it's a jump. Why? Jump. I don't get it. Jump. But up to that, yeah. This is what I have. People were complaining, saying, oh, you've got to spend money to get the trade cards and all that stuff. No, you don't. If you do the game properly, level your car up, you're eventually going to get a load of used parts, and like I will show you, you trade them in. And then you can go to trade-ins and choose it. For example, let's have a look. What would I like? What's my lowest? My block is my lowest, but I would like Outlaw. So you can choose your brand, go to Outlaw. Actually, no, I need block, so it'd be better. Go to block, spin it. Does it improve my stuff? Yes. So I'll equip. If I don't want to equip, I trade it in. Yes, it costs 3 and you get 1 back, but it's not a major problem. You have 3 characters to play as. You've got Tyler, which is the main character, which ideally is my least favourite. He's the guy who does the racing. He's just the race person. No, he's the race and drag person. My mistake. Then we have Jess, who is the runner, which ideally is one of my probably joint favourite character. Where the coppers are, and yes, I know what people are going to say. The coppers only work when you're in a certain mission. Yes, but for me, I didn't mind that. The coppers were challenging, they were very aggressive. I did the campaign on medium, and to be honest, every time I really wanted to go back onto easy because it was that difficult. And then you have Mac, who is an Englishman, who is your dirt driver and also your drift driver, and he is very entertaining, let's say. He's very an entertaining person. You got to go through, I think it is about 5 or 6 different clubs to get to the main last mission. And fun. Things that obviously people are moaning about are... Sorry. Pause menu. Oh, how not? Oh, there's a pause menu. People are talking about shipments and premium shipments. You get a shipment every time you level up. Or, as you can see, they cost you money. You get a shipment every time, and it doesn't help. And they just give you extra money. But since the updates, the game gives you money without a thing. There's additional side objectives like don't crash into any cars, or if it's a drift one, it's usually drift constantly for a certain amount of yards. And they give you, I think the highest I've seen is 15 extra grand for that activity. I think the activity was 21 grand. You're coming out with 36 grand, so I don't know why people are still complaining about the microtransactions. In my opinion, they really need to shut up about the microtransactions. Obviously, you have photo mode. I don't think I have. Oh, I do have photo. No, that's not me. That's actually a really nice photo. Oh, I've got no flags. But I do love the car. That's actually really nice. You obviously have day-to-day challenges, which also gives you a which also gives you I should have just done that. Oh well. Another shipment. So they give you shipments all the time, and I can't understand why this game got a 5.5. Was it 5.5 rating? Yeah, a 5.5 rating. The last game, the 2015 version, where it was real life actors, which, to be fair, they did their best job. It wasn't the best game. It wasn't the best game. I enjoyed it, but I could have lived without the actual actors. And the amount of fist bumping and the amount of monster drinking, that's just showing ill health. Energy drinks don't help you. They are very unhealthy, but that's a different rant. This one is more interesting. You got more characters to do. You have so many different cars, which I will show you. Fast travel is $500, but as you can tell, I don't particularly need the money. Oh yeah, there you go. So they charge you about 30 grand for the cars that you've already bought, which some people might be annoyed at, but it's money. It's money, money, money. It's some money. The old VW, which I have yet to decide to get, but I do love it. I'm a sucker for VW. You got the Mazdas, then there's still more cars to come out. Obviously, there's my car that I'm driving at the moment. There's, yes, it's not Forza Horizon cars, like over 300, but there are many things. There's the old school Ford Roadster, a Buick, which hasn't been in a GTA game for a long, long time. Old school Honda Civic. The Sylvia, or S15 as the Americans like to call it. The new-ish Civic, because I think it's out of date by a year now, because the new one is so aggressive. The R32, which does have an R34 body kit. Obviously, the Skyline. It's going to be in every game because it's such a major talking point. And then getting into higher end cars, you've got the new Nissan GTR, which has an achievement, so they are making you buy it, but I believe most people like the games, and people would it's an easy game to platinum, if I'm honest. I've nearly done it. All I have to do is get all the activities, which are the jumps, the speed traps, and the speed cameras, to 3 stars, and I've achieved it. You got the Panorama Turbo, which is my dirt car, which is really nice. You got the new NXX, which I have yet to do. You got the OP Porsche. You got an Audi R8, which I should be buying very, very soon. You got the McLaren P... No, it's not the McLaren P1, is it? No. You got the McLaren, which I believe is the main enemy's car, which is very nice. She has it in purple. Can't complain about that. You got the Aston Martin DB11. Diablo, the Huracan. That's something I wanted to talk. If you went on the 2015 version, the Huracan in drift mode was so OP. They've actually fixed it, and they've fixed it so much that now I think it's the Aventador is a better drift car, which is different. You got the new Ford GT, which in my opinion looks fan-blaming-tastic. It's a very, very nice car. Obviously Aventador, you got the Porsche, which is gorgeous. Ah, that's the P1. You got the old school Beck custom hot rod. You've got the main point of the game, which is the Koenigsegg, which, again, if you are going to get the game, there are achievements saying get Outlaw and all the parts. My opinion, not my opinion, and my advice to you is to use this car. You have to wait until you've completed the story, but buy this car, because as you can tell, the car is 393. You got to get it to 311. Literally, build up your tokens. You build up your tokens, take your tokens in, choose the brand you want, keep going, exit the shop, you get the achievement. That's how I did it. It took me about half an hour, and obviously as soon as you've done that, you sell all the parts again, you sell the car, and you get more or less, you don't get all of it back, but you get most of your tokens back. There's the new Aston Martin Vulcan, quite pricey, but it's a nice car, and the Pagani Hyra, which you've already seen in my garage, which is also there. Customization stuff is absolutely fantastic, as I have already shown you, but I will show you again because I've not shown you the main bits of it. Yeah, as I was saying, it was one of the reviews I saw was a 3-letter company. So I'm not going to brand them because I might get copyrighted, which would not be good for anyone. And they were the ones that gave it a 5.5. I watched that video, and the only thing they said which was good about the game was it has a pause menu. They didn't mention that they had dirt cars and dirt races and drift cars and drift races, which actually was in the old game, and drag. They brought the drags back to normal, and also in the drags you actually have races as well. Did they mention it? No. Obviously, as you can tell, you have your hood bits as always. You have your front bumpers, which is always. You got your dinner plates. You got your canards, headlights. Every car has these headlights. This was a problem. This is a problem that the old game had, because the old game only certain cars did it. This one does it now. You can make it wider if you like. I was trying to make this car as realistic to my own car. I don't actually own it. This is my dream real life car, which I'd like to own. And yes, I would have it with pink wheels. Be nice in the comment section, please. But this is how I'd have it. Exhausts are always ridiculous, but Need for Speed like that. Rear diffusers, always the same. License plates are always the same. Apparently, not 100% if I have access to this, but there's supposed to be a Christmas special to it. Unless if that's the deluxe one, but I'm not so sure. It could be the deluxe version. If you had the deluxe version, you can get a Coca-Cola license plate, or they might have taken it out. I don't know, which is really odd. Sound system again does nothing. Spoilers. Look at the wangs. So they're still ridiculous with the wings. But yeah, as I said, and this is for every car. So they've made an improvement, but as I said, a certain company reviewer did not review it and said the only good thing about it was the pause menu, which I think is really silly because they missed so much about the car. I will show you. No, I didn't want to get in that car. I will show you my. I think it's the drag car I've got. Where's my drag car? There, drag car. There you go. You got to have an American muscle drag car. Same, just make it look mean. Hoods, obviously. But yeah, obviously I've missed a bit. Obviously, you have all the same rims and stuff as before. To me, it's a great game. Obviously, this is fully in my opinion. It's in my top 5. It's a really good game. It's a hell of a change. I find it really disrespectful that most reviewers I've seen about 10 of them, most of them give it less than a 6. I don't think I've seen any more than a 7, if I'm honest. And stuff like that. I'm just amazed. Thank you for all the comments. I shall read some of them while I have a bit of time left. How does it compare to Forza Horizon or The Crew? Good question. It's very similar to The Crew. That's probably the best way to me for it to me. But like The Crew had dirt cars, they had drift cars after the DLC. They had drag cars, which were after the DLC. Obviously supercars and stuff. It's very similar. Obviously, Crew's probably got the map down because it is the whole of America, where this is roughly the only bit of the US, bit of like Las Vegas, which isn't Las Vegas. I can't remember what it's called, but it's not supposed to be Las Vegas. No, they're not genius. But yeah, there's many cars. The Crew has bikes as well, and like monster trucks and all. So there was a few things for me. I'm one of the ones that loved the Crew story. I know quite a few of my friends disagree. They didn't like the story, which is perfectly fine. Me though, I loved it. It was very moving. Um, for me, I felt more part of it. I felt more in line of the character and stuff. So there was that. Forza Horizon, in my opinion, it beats Forza Horizon. Because Forza Horizon, if you've played one... I don't know if you've noticed, but I call my cars all female names. It's just a habit. I know quite a few people do it, a few people don't. So, as my first car was a Corsa, so I called it Candy Corsa. It would. Like for me with Forza Horizon, if you've played the first game, you've played every game. I will still play every game, but they never mix it up. I will admit, the new DLCs that they brought out for Forza Horizon 3, like the Hot Wheels, brilliant. Definitely a good change. And the Winter Mounted, which was brilliant. But the main campaign stuff, it's the same thing. Yes, you go against the odd helicopter or power boats or trains, but other than that, it's the same stuff each time. So for me, this game beats Forza Horizon if you've not got the DLCs. Crew... Crew or Need for Speed Payback? That's... I can't... I wouldn't be able to answer that, to be honest, because Crew, it has its cars, it has its bikes. I will admit, the DLCs do make it better, but then for real life situation, not real life situation, but for just like cruising around and stuff, like in a monster truck, it's a bit bizarre. The other thing, obviously, I've not mentioned about is the online system. There is speed lists, so you can go online with people. Sorry, just reading comments. Who wins in customization? Forza Horizon doesn't, because either Forza Horizon only has about 3 parts depending on the car, or it has its own Forza customization with its basic wing and stuff. Again, it would Crew, and it depends on how you prefer. The Crew did have a lot of bumpers, but they weren't real life bumpers, where this game uses real life actual bumpers to these cars. So it depends on if you like the wacky looking ones, or if you like the what did I say? Yeah, if you like the actual real ones of the cars, or if you like the wacky fake ones on different cars. It's ideally preferences. Ideally, I'd stick with usually the real ones, and stuff. So, what else? Questions? Free roam. What do I think of the no free roam cops? That honestly does not bother me the slightest. I am not the biggest fan of the police cars. I get sick and tired of them and stuff. I like the fact that it was in an only storyline. If they bring them into the real life world, fair enough. If it's anything like the Crew, because obviously the Crew has it, I never did it. I never changed it up or anything like that. So it depends on your preferences. For me, if they were in the game, it wouldn't bother me, because I probably wouldn't see much of the coppers, if I'm honest. Same with, because that's what I did with the Crew. The Crew, the coppers were always there, and they never bothered me, because every time there was a copper there, I behaved like a good little boy. and never get the coppers on me. You put, so for me, not a problem really. What else? Oh yeah, speed list. Speed list is good. I wish there was a way. I wish there was a thing where you could say no contact, because everyone's out for blood, if I'm honest. The no meeting up with your friends. I know at the moment it's not in it, but Ghost have said that they are supposed to be bringing it in because it was a major talking point, or the only way you can do it is if you do a speed list with like a load of friends to actually just fool around with. But other than that, again, it's not fussed. Like, I was, out of my friends, I was ideally the only one who got the game. So ideally, I wasn't fussed about it. Speed list was good. Did my head in as always, but it was good. Most people use the Agera because it's like the OP car, but when people crash into you, it kind of makes no difference. Obviously, there's still wraps and everything you can get from the games, which hasn't changed from the second one. There's new cars. Yes, there's no Ferraris, but if everyone remembers from the last game, Ferrari gave you no customization. I think we have time for one more question, or a few more questions. What should stay and what should go? What should stay and what should go? I would say everything should stay. I don't think there's anything that needs to go, to be honest. As I said, this game's in my top 5, and I couldn't stop playing it. Playing different pits, like obviously you've got your roaming races, you've got your collectibles, you've got your derelict cars to get while you start the game. I did it as soon as thing because I wanted to take as long as I possibly could for the campaign. So yeah, as I said, I'm quite happy with it. Balance between supercars and regular cars. I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't mind if you remember the Need for Speed Underground 2, I won't mind that poor Peugeot 106, but it's a car that everyone will be wanting supercars. They haven't brought in Ferraris. They have limited a certain amount. There are some real life cars coming into the game soon. So I'm quite happy with it. What should they do for the next Need for Speed? Ideally, something like this again. If I'm honest, I'm not a fan of the newest Most Wanted or Rivals. I felt that was literally just supercar heaven. The newest Most Wanted was my least favourite game. I would have given that a 0. The sheer fact that you can't customise your cars is, for me, a beyond a joke, because that's what Need for Speed is. You can customise it, you can rise it, you can make it look, in some people's opinions, really stupid, or in a really good way. Like with the neon, like with my Mustang here. But with that game, you didn't buy a car, you literally just turned up within the first week. I think everyone put it on YouTube going, oh, if you want this car, it's here. Literally just do that. The only upgrades were additional boosters like nitrous and stuff. So for me, it wasn't a Need for Speed game. So if they brought another game like that out, I'd be slightly disappointed. But other than that, if they did it on this similar line, I'd be very happy. But there are supposed to be not DLCs, but an update. Like on 2015, there was Eddie from Need for Speed Underground 1. There was a speed list of that, which was very entertaining. And then there was another one, which was the speed lists. So they are preferably bringing stuff in. As I said about before, customization, you can, like, as you can tell, I've not really customized my car with any vinyls. I think the only one ideally does, which is that one on my thingy. I did try to make a heavy metal one for my old Mustang, which I got rid of it because it wasn't the best in the world. But I'm not going to show you it because I'm just going to... It was very bright. It was bright. I started with a bright pink car, let's say that. That's all you're going to get out of me. I think what should come into the game is, as I said, is you should be able to get a lobby and you could have some of your friends in, because if they automatically brought in people all around the world, you're gonna have the same problem as you did in the 2015 version, which was people yelling and rage quitting because you're doing a race and you're crashing into someone. That's why they've not put it in. Most of the reviewers didn't think of that, which I don't know why, because it's kind of obvious. But there should be a lobby, so like Speedless, you should have like a friends lobby where you can take it in turns doing certain things if you wanted to. As I said, for me, it's not a problem because I'm the only one who has this game, but I know certain people would like that. But as what I've heard or read on the web is it's supposed to be coming in, but they need to make sure everyone's happy with it, which is the best option, to be honest. I think that's roughly it about this game. I probably sound a bit biased because I've not really said much bad about it, but as I said, I love the game. You can fast travel, so you get a lot of money since the update. You get nitrous colours, you get neon again, which is great to have back in the game. You can have air suspension if you just want to show up and go low and stuff. So I'm very happy. It was definitely money well spent. Obviously, there are, last bits I will say is there are certain brands, like as you can see, there's LB Performance, there's Rocket Bunny, so they are having proper real ones. Like I said, difference between this and the Crew is the Crew, if I remember correctly, didn't have the right to official bumpers, so they just put massive things in, which wasn't a bad thing. I was happy with it. But yeah, character, as I said, if I was going to do if I was going to say things, good things and bad things, story was great. Had a lot of activities to do. Characters, all of them were good except Tyler. Tyler was a bit boring, but you could change it up because you have the additional characters. Police, for me, it wasn't a problem, but yes, people would say, "Oh, I want to do free your own police." It's personal preference, to be honest. If you really like police, you can redo the missions all over again in a lower powered car and stuff, and you get your upgrades that way. You can just do activities and you get a speed card, which is your upgrades. If it improves it, you put it on your car. If it doesn't, you trade it in, or you can sell it for cash. But no, game was a winner for me. I'm looking forward to the updates when they bring it in. Rating out of 10. Well, I'm not going to give it a 5.5 because that's a smack in the face, in my opinion. If I was a reviewer, I would look on what I liked from the last game to this game. So I'll do that quickly. Last game, it was really good. It was easy to upgrade your cars. There was a lot of thing. The problem with the last game was ideally the campaign's acting and the fist bumping and the characters drinking Monster a lot. I didn't really feel that was necessary. That game, I would probably given it a 7.5, maybe 8, because there was a lot they could have done. They could have done neon and everything. Oh, and it was only at night time, which I wasn't fussed about because I like it at night time. This game has a night and day system, which was good. Characters were refreshing because you could change it up, but as I said, Tyler was my least favourite. You had derelict cars to find, which was a really nice addition. There was collectibles as the gambler chips and the billboards, which was also good. For me, this game is at least an 8.5, 9. In my preference. It's not a 10, but that's what I'd give it. I'd give it a 9. Be nice to see where they go with the next update and stuff, but other than that, it's one of our favourites. I think it's I can't remember on my list off by heart, but I think it's either my second or my third favourite game. So, oh, just remembered another thing. They also bring in past people from the last games. Spoilers alert! In 3, 2, 1. There's Cross from the good Most Wanted, where you have to go against Razor. There is also TFW, which is a car crew from Carbon. There's Noise Bomb from Need for Speed Pro Street. I've mentioned it, and it's like I said, all the reviews I've seen, they didn't do it. They did not mention a damn thing about it. And it was really, really surprising. I think they had some bad blood for it or something, because it made no sense to me. So they were still keeping up to date with the past games and stuff, so what can you say, eh? It doesn't tick people boxes. All I would say is, before I go, is those reviewers liked the new Most Wanted, they liked Rivals, they liked the new Hot Pursuit. That's just pornographic speed cars, in my opinion. It's not Need for Speed. Need for Speed is where you actually have to grind. In this game, you had to grind. You couldn't just go into a sport. You couldn't just go into a supercar. You actually had to grind for about an hour so your cars to do it. This was before the update, where the shops weren't as they are now. But there was a bit of grinding. It was a great game. The update's not made much difference to me. I know I'm not going to be taken serious because obviously I've completed the game, but it was a nice game. Felt like it was going back. A reviewer said 1 step forward, 2 step back. I think no, it's done at least 10 steps forward, nothing back. So I will end it there. You can say hello to my Mustang, which is called Mandy. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Give us a like. Until next time. Bye. That's pause. Crap. Bad ending.